What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another episode of the Noosa 245 series. If you haven't watched any of my videos, my name's Dave and I make content around running, shoe reviews, and my life. Today I've got the next iteration of a shoe that I've recommended hundreds of times and a shoe that I've worn in countless races. A shoe that I've truly been dying to try on and race in. I've got with me the SAUCONY ENDORPHIN Pro 4. The Pro 4 was the missing piece to the ENDORPHIN range that I've been using and loving throughout the entire Noosa 245 training block. It was a much needed addition indeed. Yesterday, I took these out for a first run and a first workout, a 2-in-1-er for my first impressions review. So in just 2 days, I'm running my first half marathon race of the year. I'm running the Gold Coast Running Festival. I ran it last year and I'm bringing it back again for this year. So the workout I did yesterday in the shoes was more of a half marathon tune-up session aimed to get the legs prepped for the intense effort to come, but without adding too much fatigue in the legs. So the session started with an easy 15-minute warm-up jog, and then I went into 4Ks run at half marathon effort. Then after that, I had a 4-minute standing recovery. I know I'm very generous. Then the second part of the workout was 4 rounds of 400 meters run at 10K effort with 90 seconds standing recovery in between those efforts. Then I finished off the workout with a 15-minute easy run cool down, and that was the workout. So let's see how the workout went yesterday and if the Pro 4s held up as good as they look. Okay, so that's that 4K done at half marathon effort. Managed to sit around 338 to 340. So pretty good effort. The pros, they feel really good. Very squishy. Comparing to like the Pro 3s, I think they're a bit more stable, which is I think also what they were trying to achieve with the new ENDORPHIN range. Anyway, so yeah, very similar to the Speed 4 in that it's like wider under the foot and more stable. But that was 4K done at half marathon effort. A little tune-up session ready for the half marathon race this weekend. And then now I've got a 4-minute standing recovery. So this is very generous. This feels good. So yeah, just gonna be chilling here for 4 minutes. And then I've got 4 by 400 meters run at 10K effort with 90 seconds recovery in between. So basically just ticking the legs over a little bit faster than half marathon effort this morning, but not trying to build too much fatigue in the legs. But yeah, these feel really good. I sized up. I'm usually an 8.5, so I went a 9. And I think I could probably tie them up a little bit tighter, but that's just things that you learn on your first run and first session at the same time. But yeah, now I'm just gonna recover and get ready for those 400s. Let's go. 1 second. That's better. All right, first 400. There we go, tune-up session done. Now just a 15-minute cool down. Woo. Back to you, Dave. All right, guys, so I won't bore you too much about the specs, but I will talk a little bit about what has changed from the Pro 3 to the Pro 4, and yeah, what upgrades they've done for this new iteration. So firstly, there's an 8mm drop and the shoe comes in at 218 grams. It's actually, I think, 2 grams heavier than the Pro 3, but with the upgrades that have come with it, I think this was a really great move. So they've updated the upper to a much more breathable mesh, and they're calling it a sock liner. This has definitely made it much more comfortable and definitely more breathable in my opinion. They've also added this little lace flap on the top of the tongue, which says SAUCONY here, and then you can put it down over the laces. I prefer to have it flipped up, just so people can see that I'm wearing Sauconys. I just think that it genuinely looks cooler this way, but if I know I'm gonna go into speed mode and I've got a tough rep coming up, you may see me just put that little thing down just there. This is the Vizzy Orange colorway with a dreamy white midsole. Very, very nice Saucony. I told you the specs were gonna be quick. So let's talk about my first impressions of the Pro 4. This shoe is very, very bouncy. I've heard people describe this as a more stable Vaporfly, and I think there is some truth to that, but this shoe is its own shoe completely, and it has its own personality. It is definitely more stable than the Pro 3, and I think that's a common theme when talking about the new Endorphin 4 range, whether you're talking about the Pro 4 or the Speed 4. They've both gone for a slightly wider midsole, and they just added that little bit more stability, which I have really got on well with, and I think is a really great addition. Although I will say, just like the Pro 3 and the Speed 3 and Speed 4, it is very narrow when you get to the toe box. So it is, I would say, true to size lengthwise, but if you're like me and you have wider toes, you may experience some rubbing on your pinky toe, which I have experienced on the Pro 3, now the Pro 4, and the Speed 3 and the Speed 4. So it seems to be a common theme with the Endorphin range, but I actually sized up another half size for these that I did on the Speed 4s, and I found that it was a lot better, and I was still able to get a pretty good lockdown with the sock liner, even though I went up half a size. Maybe I am somewhere in between that 8.5 and a 9 size normally, but yeah, usually I'm at 8.5 and I went up to 9, and it seemed to help the squished toes and rubbing pinky toe feeling, but it didn't make it feel like I was wearing a flipper. One thing I will say is that there is one shoe in the Endorphin range that doesn't seem to give me that same problem, and it does have quite a wide toe box, and that is the Endorphin Elite. The Endorphin Elite is my shoe that I've chosen to wear for the Noosa Marathon, the whole reason for this whole series, and that's a shoe that I find has all of the great things about a super shoe, but it doesn't have that super narrow toe box, which is a great thing for me. I would say that the Pro 4s definitely feel like the Pro 3s, like they have all of the great things carrying on from the Pro 3s, but the Pro 4s I would say are just slightly more stable, especially around the heel. If you remember the Pro 3s, they were quite narrow on the heel. Now they've kind of gone for a little bit of a wider heel and a little bit wider in the midsole there, which is just, I think it's just made it more stable. It just feels better, and you've got that more ground contact feel, which I just think feels better and improved. I think this shoe is going to be great for sessions. K-reps in these are going to be an absolute dream. And I think this is going to be a really great shoe if you're racing any distance up to maybe the half marathon. But that's just what I think after wearing this for my first wear on that one run that I did, that one session. But after that workout, I've been convinced, I've decided that I'm going to wear this for my half marathon race coming up on the weekend. So I'll be able to give you guys a really good opinion on how I think the shoe feels at a race effort, and how protective it feels, and how responsive it still feels at the back end of that half marathon race. But guys, there will be a full review coming very, very soon. Also, I will have a lot to say in regards to how it feels on race day, and once I've clocked a fair few more miles in this as well. That is going to conclude my first impressions, first run, first workout review of the Endorphin Pro 4s. If you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure you give it a like and consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of my future Noosa 245 marathon project. Cheers for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Hello? Yeah, I told you. It's SAUCONY, not SAUCONY. How many times do I have to bloody tell you?